Good day, ma'am. So, my group video lesson, we will discuss about correlation. There are many instances in your life we will try to determine in some of characteristics are related with each other. On our higher level, you also want measure degree of the relationship or association. These usually associate height and weight, budget and expenses, mental ability and academic performance, sibling order and attitude, civil status and manager skill, and other aspects of life could be related of one another. The relationship between variables can be measured statistically by various correlation methods.
Scatter plot. A scatter plot is a graph of ordered pair of numbers consisting of the independent variable x and the dependent variable y. The independent variable is the variable that can be controlled or manipulated. The dependent variable is the variable that cannot be controlled or manipulated. The dependent variable is the plot on the horizontal axis and the dependent variable on the vertical axis. The purpose of this graph is to determine the nature of the relationship between the variables. The relationship may be positive linear, negative linear, curvilinear, or no discernible relationships.
Example number 1. Construct a scatter plot for the given data using Microsoft Excel. Ito yung makikita natin yung mga dots na mga ganito. Considering the following example. So we have column A and column B. So I will give to try to construct the scatter plot using the Microsoft Excel. Ito yung makikita ninyo, the point plotter to show the relationship between the values lessened under a column A, which a plotter to the x-axis and the values lessened under the column B is a plotted on the y-axis. Observe from this data that every increase 5 units on the items column A. So, naging increase on 5 unit, this corresponding increase of 3 units on the items lessened on B. So, you will also observe that the points along straight line running from the lower part of the lower lip to the right upper. Right upper right, the scattered diagram. This illustrates a perfect positive relationship. When computed, the coefficient of correlation is equal to 1.
Again, we have column A and column B. I can try to construct a scatter plot using a Microsoft Excel. Ito naman makikita natin kapag ito yung result ng scatter plot natin. This illustrates a perfect negative relationship when computed. The coefficient of correlation is equal to 1. Kapag ganito yung makikita ninyong direction, ang mga dots natin na pag ganyan siya, that is negative correlation.
Another example. So let's try to construct the scatter plot using the Microsoft Excel. In the given column A and B, makukuha natin to. We can check it using the Microsoft Excel. Kapag ito naman ang makikita nyo as the result after constructing scatter plot, it means that it illustrates a very high positive correlation between the two sets of points. As what you can see, hindi po siya straight line. Kumbaga, na-scatter na siya pagdating dito, pero ang movement ng ating line ay papuntang increasing, going to the right.
For the example, given the two items, again, is Vary to construct the scatter plot using the microscope Excel. So, ito yung makukuha natin. Ayan, scatter talaga siya. Kalat-kalat. So, parang wala kang makukuhang direction. Kung increasing ba siya o papuntang right side o papunta siya doon. Therefore, kapag ito makukuha mo na scatter plot, talaga ang dots natin. So, this illustration illustrates a low negative relationship with the points are evenly distributed all over the scatter diagram that will indicate that there is no relationship.
Correlation is a statistical method used to determine if there is relationship between variable and the strength of the relationship. Meron tayong dalawang dito na na ginagamit for correlation. Is na maganda siyang gamitin, a person correlation coefficient. What is this? The degree of linear association relationship between two variables at least of interval scales is measured by a correlation coefficient denoted by R. It is sometimes called person correlation coefficient, person product moment correlation coefficient, in honor of its developer. This is a formula. Isa-isahin natin sila. N equals number of pairs of score. Submission xy equals sum of the products of pair score. Submission x equals sum of x scores. Submission y equals sum of y scores. Submission x squared sum of squared of x scores, and submission y squared sum of squared y scores. And then interpretation, R is plus negative 1.0. The interpretation is perfect positive negative correlation, plus negative 0.80 minus 0.99 very strong positive negative correlation, plus positive 0.60 minus 0.79 strong positive negative correlation, plus negative 0.40 minus 0.59 moderate positive negative correlation, plus negative 0.20 minus 0.39 weak positive negative correlation, plus negative 0.01 minus 0.90. Sa interpretation naman ay very weak positive negative correlation. 0.0 is no correlation for interpretation. Example, a statistic professor at a state university want to see how strong the relationship is between a student's score on the test and or her grade points average. The data obtained from the sample follow. T-score X is 98, 105, 100, 100, 106, 95, 110, and 112. Sa GPA naman, Y ay 2.1, 2.4, 3.2, 2.7, 2.2, 2.3, 3.8, and 3.4. This solution naman ay ang X. Ibaba lang po natin yung T-score sa X. 98, 105, 100, 100, 106, 95, 116, 112. Ipa-plus mo lang ngayon, makukuha mo na ang kanyang submission. Ang submission ng X ay 832. Ganoon din po sa Y. Ang Y ay 2.1, 2.4, 3.2, 2.7, 2.2, 2.3, 3.8, 3.4. Ipa-plus mo lang yon, ang submission ay 22.1. Sa X and Y ganun din. Ang sa XY naman ay ito times mo lang yung X saka Y. 98 times 2.1 equals to 105.8. 105 times 2.4 equals to 252. 100 times 3.2 equals 320. 100 times 207, 270. 106 times 202, 233.2. 95 times 12.3, 218.5. 116 times 308, 440.8. 112 times 3.4, 380.8. The submission ng x and y ay 2,321.1. Sa x squared naman, ganun din. Sa sarili niya lang talaga times. Ganito siya. 98 times 98 equals 9,604. 105 times 105 equals 11,025. 100 times 100, 10,000. 100 times 100, 10,000. 106 times 106 equals 11,236. 95 times 95 equals 9,025. 116 times 116 equals 13,456. 112 times 112 equals 12,544. The submission ng x squared ay 86,890. Sa y squared naman, ganun din. Sa sarili din sikap ng y. 2.1 times 2.1, 4.41. 2.4 times 2.4 equals 5.76. 3.2 times 3.2 equals 10.24. 2.7 times 2.7, 7.29. 2.2 times 2.2 equals 484. 2.3 times 2.3 equals 5.29. 3.8 times 3.8 equals 14.44. 3.4 times 3.4 equals 11.56. The submission ng y squared ay 63.83. The solution ng x, submission ng x ay 832. Submission ng y is 22.1. Submission ng x to y equals 2,321.1. Submission ng x squared 86,890. Submission ng y squared 63.83. And ang n naman ay 8. Using the formula. So, substitute lang natin ang nakuha nating data values. So, n is 8 and then papalitan natin ng submission ng x and y ng 2,321.1 and then close parentheses minus submission of x 832 times submission of y is 22.1 all over the square root of, so under dapat sila ng square root silang lahat. So in that is 8, magkasama muna ito sila, dalawang grupo sila. 8 times 86,890 kasi yun ang value ng submission ng x squared minus submission of x is 832. Tapos squared and then sa kabila naman 8 times submission and y that is 63.83 minus that submission of y which is 22.1 squared using the scientific calculator with going to perform this. 8 times 2,321.1 minus 832 times 22.1. The answer is 181.6. And then, sa denominator natin, unahin mo na itong nandito. Using the calculator, I want to forget the multiply. 8 times 86,890 minus the subtract. So, minus 832 square that is 2,896. And then, dito naman sa kabila, 8 times 63.83 minus 22.1 squared. And that is 22.23. So, make sure na nasusundan ito sa calculator and then try to check and after that. So, multiply natin ito sa dalawang after natin makuha yung sa bawat bracket. So, multiply natin yung result and that is 64,378.08. And then, you're ready divide now 181.6. Divide square root of 64,378.08. The answer is 0.72. So, ano ibig sabihin ng 0.72? The correlation coefficient suggests a strong positive relationship between the test score and the grade point average. So, between the T-score, the GPA is a strong positive relation. Ibig sabihin, kung mataas yung GPA niya, mataas din yung test score niya.